YSE. Big U Sports and Entertainment TV.
Watch this.
Watch it. Football talk is a big hit. Sunday nights to Wednesday nights, we striking a match cause we lit. Y'all know the name, we call it the Dub. On Friday nights, it feel like a club. Getting that VIP treatment on the sideline, they showing us love. Great interviews, go Hoods. Putting in work, go good. Texas youth and high school talking to page on Facebook. Hold up. Coach Carter stepping on the scene, giving advice, he do what he mean. Jay Mack and Swaggy Big, rocking the gear, it's so clean.
Big guys and go easy, off the easy for cheesy. With my steppers, our special kids, making places so easy. Trying to win, we so greedy. All our fans are so needy, cause they need to hear them talk about that club. We do it for the dub.
We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. That TF dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. That TF dub.
Welcome to the Dub, number one high school podcast starring Pat Botese, Jeremy McInnes, Whitfield Roderick, Coach Carr, and Ron Riser.
Well, all right. What's happening? What's going on? Welcome to the number one talk show. Speak out.
The Dub, baby. You heard it first.
Hey, there he is. Talk that talk, man.
What it do? Big U Sports League is going down, man. It's your boy Mark Henry in the game. You know what I'm talking about? Soto, Texas. This is where champions are made. So we're going to see what it do. Shout out to my guy, Big Pat Botese.
Yes, sir. We out here, man. We in here. We outside today, baby. DeSoto Stadium, home of the two-time back-to-back champs. 6A is going. All right. It's going down. If it ain't live, it ain't me. It's your boy Bo, episode 83. 83. Who is 83? Who's the famous 83 we need to go with this week?
Was it Kevin Martin, 83?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, or the baby wide receiver.
Kmart.
We'll take Kmart.
I like it. Episode 83. Oak Cliff native in the house. What's going on, boss?
Hey, man. Happy to be here Wednesday night. Hey, man, ready to do it again, man. You know, we got a great, we got a legend in the house, man. I get excited whenever we get the legend, so.
Absolutely. Coach Carr. I see. I like the dry fit drip. Look really good. The royal blue. I like it.
What'd you say, Pat?
The royal blue. I like that.
Do it for the Dub, baby.
Yes, sir. It's dry fit too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need that dry fit, brother. I need that dry fit. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Dub, everybody. Episode 83. We are in the building. Everybody share, like, comment, join the new Dub page that's up and running. And hopefully we get that thing up way before the season starts. Man, welcome to episode 83. Like J-Back said, we have an absolute legend in the house. And when I mean legend, Sam Harrell, he has a long history. We're not going to waste a lot of time. We're going to bring him on in a minute. But I have to do this. So I kind of was talking to Coach Harrell last week, kind of getting a little background and history on him and stuff like that. My son goes to college in Brownwood, and I found out that he went to high school in Brownwood. And I'm like, wow. There it is right there. Oh, the memories of Brownwood High School in 1974. Let's welcome to the Dub, a legend, Sam Harrell. Dub salute.
Man, I wasn't even born then.
Yeah, Pat, you had to do some digging, get that 1970 pictures.
I'm really good in my research. I'm really good in my research. Yeah, I mean, you guys had a bunch of great looking folks in there and stuff.
Golly, get that thing off.
Wait a minute. Do you remember any of these people?
Well, that guy right next to me, Pete Hicks, I think it is, or I don't know if that's Hicks or not, but he played football with us. But I can't. It looks kind of like him, but I can't tell if it is or not. But I probably remember a few of them, not many. That.
Man,
No doubt. So speaking of Brownwood, let's dig all the way back into your history. And wait a minute. So you graduated in what, 74, 75?
75. Yeah,
You know
before most of you were even born.
Actually, I was born in 75. I was born in 75, so we good.
Okay, good.
me too.
I was
75
graduating.
was the year.
I was born in 70.
From my school.
I was born in 70, so I was at least alive when you was running around at Brownwood. So this is kind of significant because another thing I dug up was what happened in 1975 when you graduated that affects what you're doing right now. That has some. I'll say that has something to do with where you're at right now. What happened in 1975?
I was born.
All right.
You dug up more than I know there, Pat. You're doing a good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, right here, the 1975 3A state champion ENNIS Lions.
Oh yeah. 75, and I didn't even know who they were back then. Obviously, when I was, when you're in high school, you don't know all the other places. But yeah, once I got here, there's Ronnie Greer played on that team, and he's still around, and so I got real familiar with them. Those are some good guys.
Okay, and I think that was just so unique and ironic because you graduated in 75 in Brownwood. The team that you are known for being with won it in 75, and then you were able to add a few to those. So take us back to your history, where it all began. How did you get into coaching, and who did you work with?
Well, first off, my dad was a football coach, so I kind of grew up just being being a gym rat and being just being in the huddle with him, with Dad and the players all the time. And way back then, you talk about a long time ago, that's back in the 60s or whatever, they'd bring them, Dad and them would bring them up there when it was 2-a-days. They'd bring them and they'd sleep in the gym, the team would, and they'd put them up and they'd feed them and they'd have workout in the morning, they'd have workout at night. And I can remember going up there and spending the night in the gym with them. And, but anyway, my dad was a coach, and then, playing at Brownwood, I played for Gordon Wood and Kenneth West and Morris Southall, and they were all really great men, of course. And then when I graduated, I really was going to be I really went to college, going to be pre-dental. I graduated at Brownwood in high school. I was a valedictorian, and so it was really Coach Wood. He said, "You're too smart to be a coach. Go off and be a doctor or something." So I just listened to him, and so instead of being a doctor, I was going to be a dentist, and so I was pre-dental for first part, and then I finally decided, hey, all I've ever been around is athletics, and my dad's a coach. That's what I want to do, and so I changed the coaching midway through, and then got a job right out of, when I got out of college. And then was really fortunate and worked for 3 really great men. My first job was with Greg Sherwood in Plainview. And then I went to Brownwood and got back with Coach Wood. And then Randy Allen took over after Coach Wood there. So I coached with Greg Sherwood, Gordon Wood, and Randy Allen. All three of them are really unbelievable guys. And only Randy's one still alive, but Coach Wood has passed away, and Coach Sherwood has passed away.
Wow. So yeah, Randy Allen, shout out Highland Park.
Yes, sir.
Head coach. And so that would put he would be in the 70s then, wouldn't he? Because
he coached in Brownwood in the 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
I went to Brownwood in 82, I guess, and stayed there till 90. And the last 4 years were with Randy, with Coach Allen, and the first 4 years were with Coach Wood.
No doubt. And then after that, you moved on. What was the next stop?
Then I got my first head job, and I really enjoyed just being an assistant coach and living in Brownwood. And one of the coaches there said, "You ought to apply for this job." So I applied for this job, and I'll be dang, I got it. Not this one, not the ENNIS one. I went to Reagan County first, out in West Texas.
Woo.
Went to Reagan County Owls, and man, have you ever seen a blue owl you thought looked very ferocious? I don't know, but anyway, we were blue owls, and so I had a good time there and enjoyed it. And then from Reagan County, that's when the ENNIS job opened, and so I applied for that one and came to ENNIS back in 1994. So that's a long time ago.
So ENNIS was about the most modern city you lived in at that point.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
Oh my God. So ENNIS, what year was that? You said 1990?
1994.
1994. Gotcha. Okay. So at that point, was the battle for 287, was that a thing already when you got there?
I mean, they've been playing Waxahachie for years and years, and when I first got here, Waxahachie was not near as big as they are now, and so they were in our district. We were both same size, and in the same district, of course, being that close together. So we played them all the time, and that they'd win a few and we'd win a few, and they'd win a few and we'd win a few, and anyway, yeah, it was a battle. But they'd been playing them for a long time, because everybody you talk to in town, all the grown-ups, they remember playing when they were kids, and so they've been playing them a long time, and we kept playing them. Even they were, like I said, they were the same size for the longest time, but then they started getting bigger. When they got bigger, we started scheduling them in non-district. And, we play them in non-district now, because they're a 6A and we're a 5A Division II.
Yeah. So speaking of kids, you have three of your own, and maybe more. I'm not sure. I just know about the boys. How many kids do you have in total? And then talk about your boys and how they help you grow the program.
Yeah, well, there's only three that I know of. I hope you don't know any more than I know of. I can say you really did some checking if you found that out.
Yeah, it probably would be a happy Thanksgiving. So,
yeah, I got three boys, and all three of them played here in ENNIS. And the first one was a receiver. And then the second and third one both played quarterback, and I was fortunate that we had good teams during all that time, and anyway, they all three played on a state championship here, and that was kind of a neat deal. And then all three of them went into coaching, and as I said earlier, one of them coaches in high school at Athens. He's the head coach at Athens. Zach, he's the oldest. And then the youngest one, Clark, he is assistant coach out in Abilene Wiley. And then Graham, the middle one, who played at Tech and other things. Yeah, there's a picture of him. Played there with Coach Leach. But he's in college. He's coaching at Purdue, He's the offensive coordinator at Purdue. Yeah.
Man. So I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'll let it go to the fellas. Did all three of them play quarterback for you?
No, just the last two. The first one played receiver. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. All right, fellas.
Go ahead, Coach Carl. You got something first?
Well, I just want to make sure that we are certain that you don't have no more kids other than those three, right, Coach?
Yeah. I'm certain of that.
I don't want nobody popping up and saying Coach Harrell's my daddy, and then we got to explain this, okay?
I thought I might not have to check with Pat, but I'm pretty sure it's only three.
That's a whole lot of investigating, Coach.
Yeah, he can find out anything.
Yeah. If Pat say you don't have no more kids, Coach, you don't have no more kids. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, wait till I pull up the elementary picture. No, I'm just kidding.
And so, Coach, you had a chance, man, to really watch Texas high school football change the whole landscape, just football in general, right? From NILs to kids, what we call JMAC, transferring all over town, trying to go to the best situations, want to go spend time in crime-free ENNIS down there with you. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what exactly, how you see Texas high school football, where it's been to where it is now?
Well, you're exactly right. It has changed. And in my time, the first change was, and we were part of that. People started we started throwing the ball more and going no huddle and all that stuff, and that kind of changed the game. And then, like you were talking about here lately with the transfer portal and the NIL. Man, that's just gotten crazy. And, and it's kind of trickling down to high school. They're talking about NIL in high school, and kids, like you said, kids want to, well, man, I may move over here and play for this guy. I'm going to play for this team, and they don't mind moving around like they used to not to.
Yeah. Like when we was coming up, Coach, the thing that I love most about my high school experience was I had an opportunity to go to Dallas Carter High School. So, and I finished in 93. So I was right around the area when you started to come into ENNIS. And one of the things that I noticed that I loved about it that's different from now is you grew up with people in your neighborhood. You played with people in your neighborhood, right? Like it was the same group of kids who was in elementary school or the same group of kids who was in high school. And to me, losing that kind of loses the neighborhood vibe of high school football that made it really special. That Friday night lights, right? Do you see that that's something that maybe we can get back to, or do you think high school, like you say, the trickling down effect from high school, college to high school? Do you think that we are moving more towards that type of environment where UIL might have to go and say, you can go anywhere you want to, even if you're going to play football?
Yeah, boy, you described it well in that man, I remember those times for sure. And I'm like you, I love those times. There was just, everybody had pride in being at that school, and he had pride in being from that town. And now it's the easiest thing in the world to say, I'm going to get up and move, and I'm afraid that's where we're going to, even see more of it and where we're headed. Because I'm afraid UIL is going to make it, and they have rules right now, and that limited some, but it looks like those rules are getting less and less. People are going by them, and they don't have the people to police them, and so that's, as I was describing ENNIS earlier, it's kind of that way still, and I like that. Most kids we have a few that didn't, but nearly every kid we have went to elementary school in Ennis. Well, that's not true. A lot of places, but anyway, yeah, I'm like you. I love those times and wish there was more pride and more loyalty to your school and to your town. But I'm afraid that's part of the past.
All right, last question before I give it up to our other host, coach. Like you knew you was born into football. Like is it and it's been a coach, right? Like you grew up in it. Your dad was a coach. Your kids a coach. Can you tell me uh why? Like what's your why, coach? Like why do you want to be a coach other than the fact that you was like you say born in and raised in? Like what's your why based on your philosophy as a coach?
Well, that's a good question, and mine, and you know, I we get these young coaches sometimes, and so I'm the old guy, obviously, and I tell them all the time, I wonder what that guy's Friday night is. Friday night still gets me excited, and getting to know you're going to get to play on Friday night, in front of a crowd or whatever else, and the guy that works at the department store or the gas station, they don't have a Friday night. What do they look forward to? I don't know. I'm sure. I hope there's something they look forward to. Well, in coaching, you still have something to look forward to, and knowing that in high school coaching, I like that because you get what kids, whoever you are given, hey, that's your kids, and it's up to you to mold them into something. You don't get to go out and choose and pick, like you do in college or pros. No, you get whatever group's coming through, and that's your kids. Well, what can you do with them? Let's find out what you can do with them. So it's still a fun deal, and just being a coach, just being around kids has always been fun to me. It kind of keeps us young, being around kids all the time, and you like molding kids, and I still think football is the greatest teacher of qualities and values that they'll use all the rest of their lives. And so I think it's our duty to pass on those values and those qualities and those core values that are going to help them be a successful dad one day and a successful employee one day and something else. If we're just teaching football, then we're doing the wrong thing. We ought to be teaching a whole lot more than just football.
Absolutely, coach. Absolutely. And that's one thing that when we started this show, one of the things that I wanted to do is I like to see leaders of men. Who are the leaders of men, and that's not just the young man in high school, but some of your young coaches. I graduated in '93 with Coach Carr, and I don't remember this many young coaches. Like it's a lot of young coaches that's coaching that's coaching right now. So I think it's important for head coach now to just not only be great with X's and O's and things like that and winning, which is always great, but also being able to lead those young coaches and those young students. And I always feel that needs to be emphasized just as much as the winning.
Yeah, I agree. You're exactly right. And like I said earlier, I tell our coaches all the time, those young ones, that, really our grading is going to be 20 years from now. 20 years from now, let's see what these guys are like. Are they good dads? Are they good workers? Are they good employees or employers or whatever else? If they have a work ethic and doing things, then we did our job. We don't. You're not graded just because of how many wins and losses. You're graded. We'll find out 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now what kind of job you did when we see the result of these kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just something I think we need to bring up more light. Bringing that to light more the coaches that's out here that's really just trying to be a positive influence. I think it was Nick Saban that said that he spent more time with other people's kids than he spent with his own.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was a powerful thing because it's letting you know that you spending more time with other kids than you spend with your own, and they're going to spend more time with you than they're probably spending with their own parents.
And that's one thing, people will ask me sometimes, or ask my kids, golly, I bet he's gone a lot. Well, one good thing about being a coach, especially when you have boys, they can be up there with you most of the time. And so when mine were little bitty, they were up there hanging around the gym like I was, or hanging around the field house or whatever else. And so really, who else gets to spend that much time with their kids? How many other people get to have their kids at work with them? Well, not many. And so I think that's another thing that made it a good profession, instead of being something that, and we do spend a lot of time with other people's kids, but we try to include our kids as much as we can. And right now, all these young ones that they have young kids up there, and they're up there during workout and everything else. Mine are grown and gone, so they're not coming around, hanging around anymore. But my wife and I, we have 7 grandkids, so our grandkids are the age of people that are hanging around. But anyway, they don't live here, so they don't get to hang around with me. But anyway, it is a place that kids can come and see their dad work and see how their dad, what he's doing. And I think that makes it a good profession too.
Yes, sir. We got a fan. That's my guy right there, my homie Cal Witherspoon. He said, "Hey, Coach Harrell, he would love to know what was the best ENNIS team that you ever coached."
Well, there was only one that was 16-0, and I don't know if that's the best one or not. The 2001 one was 16-0, and so you don't lose the ball game. I guess you're doing something right. But I really, that's the crazy thing about all that. I guess I still believe that. I did for a long time. I always thought that the 02 team and the 03 team, which didn't win state, was probably better than the 01 team. And, that's what just reminds you got to have some luck when you get in those playoffs and some things go right for you. And, but the 02 and 03 team were really good. But the 01 was the only one that was undefeated, and they were 16-0.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead. You about to piggyback on something. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna go over to Graham, because that seemed to be like the most famous Harold other than Pops, right?
What's that?
I said Graham is probably the most famous Harold other than Pops.
Well, I get all the time, like, are you the dad of Graham Harrell? So I think he's maybe more popular than I am, more known than I am. I'm just known as being the dad of Graham Harrell.
We talked before the show. I was saying, like, why your other two wasn't on your coaching staff. You like, well, they probably wouldn't like Ben. But how did it feel? I know your dad probably coached you. So how did it feel coaching your kids? And then, seeing like Graham go on to be, I'm pretty sure he ain't never, ever paid for a meal in Lubbock. So how's that feeling?
Well, it was really, and that's a good question. And as I said earlier, the good news for me was that during all those years that they were coming through, we were really pretty good. And so they were always on good teams. And so that, that kind of helps a little bit too. I guess if you was on a bad team, you might have some bad memories, but I don't have any bad memories at all, that I really enjoyed coaching all 3 of them, and enjoyed having them. And it was, I can remember most of all, the last one we got beaten Texas Stadium, so we were riding that bus back from Texas Stadium, and I knew that'd be the last time I'd ride the bus with him, and so that was a sad day, you know. But I have nothing but good memories of all the coaching time with him.
And let me ask you about that era as well. So back then in Brownwood, I imagine you came from more of a running philosophy with Coach Gordon Wood, the great Coach Gordon Wood. He's got a statue in front of the stadium and all that. So where did you get your coaching philosophy from? Because you like to air that thing out a little bit.
Well, you're right. You know, and the one thing about Coach Wood, I will say, and you know, goodness, I played back in 1970s, so you're right. Most people were running the ball back then, and we ran the ball a lot. But he threw the ball probably more than a lot of people did. But he, you know, you always did underneath center. You sure weren't the shotgun, you know. And I don't know. We when I first started, when I was out there at Reagan County as a head coach, we were kind of running that same type of offense, underneath center, and lots of run game and stuff. And then we started using shotgun right at the end, you know, right before half or at the end of the game. You know, that was our 2-minute offense. Well, when I came to ENNIS, we did the same thing. We'd be underneath center because we was underneath center when I first came to ENNIS, and then we'd get in shotgun at the end, you know, end of the half, end of the game or something. And this one year we had and I remember him, his name was O'Neal Peterson, our quarterback. Well, I'm telling you, every time we got in shotgun and we snapped that thing to O'Neal, something good was happening. And so that was his, I think his sophomore year. And I got thinking, or I got telling coaches, why don't we just do this all the time instead of just do it during the last bit of the half? Yeah, why don't we start the game that way instead of end the game that way? And so that year, we that's what we did. We just said we're going to snap that. We're going to be in the shotgun and snap it to him every time instead of wait till the dang end of the game, you know. And anyway, that's when we started changing a little bit from being more run oriented to throwing. And we had some good receivers too that he could throw the ball to, and our other quarterbacks that we kept getting. You know, now it was more popular to be a quarterback, you know, and so now we had athletic kids wanting to be quarterbacks, and so you know, it just kind of started feeding on itself.
Yeah, I always wanted that, coach. Like, you know, growing up watching the NFL, you would always see the last 2 minutes of a half or the last 2 minutes of the game, and people go score real easily. And I know a lot of it may be the coverage, may be loosened up or what have you, but I always figure like, why don't we just play like that all the time if we could score if it's gonna compromise them anyway? Right? Their knowledge is let's go 4 or 5 DBs and figure it out. But by that time it's too late. But here's the question I got for you though, coach. Name the greatest player to ever play at Ennis that's not named Harrell.
Golly, there's a bunch of them. You know, several of them were quarterbacks, but several of them were receivers and some running backs that were really good. But, you know,
no defensive players, coach?
And some, I was about to say, and some defensive players. Probably the two best. You know, I mean, Graham played for a while, but I'm telling you, we had a defensive end by the name of Greg Jones and Dennis Beasley. Both of them should have been playing on Sundays. So they were really, Greg Jones was probably the best player ever for us. And in fact, I'll tell you this story right quick. I was talking to this guy coached in college, and he knew I was from ENNIS, and he said something about Greg Jones. I said, you know Greg Jones? He said, let me tell you about Greg Jones. He said, I was at a junior college. He was coaching at the junior college. I was coaching at a junior college, and we had Greg Jones. We had Pierre Paul, you know, that played for the Giants. And and he had one other one. I can't think of his name, but he had 3 guys, and 2 of them were NFL players, really good. He said, when we were at junior college, those 3 were all there. He said, you know who the best of all 3 of them was? The best one of all 3 of them was Greg Jones, better than Pierre Paul, better than the other one, and those other 2 went on to play NFL. Well, I've always thought Greg Jones could play in the NFL, but he was really good. But you know, there's just you gotta do things right in college and pass and do all that stuff, and anyway, that gets a lot of them sometimes, and so but yeah, Greg Jones was really good, and Dennis Beasley played defensive end with him. We had Greg Jones at one defensive end and Dennis Beasley at the other. Well, man, oh man, I wouldn't want to be an offense with those 2 of them defensive ends coming after me.
So is it safe to say that in the most vaunted school in state history, ENNIS, who has one of the best offensive minds leading their program year in and year out, the best player come out of there as a defensive player? I'm gonna roll with that one, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with that one.
You're right. You're exactly right. Probably, yeah.
Well, not named Harrell. Not named Harrell.
Not named Harrell. Yes, not named Harrell. There you go.
Right. I thought Graham Harrell was going to be the best player in program history. I just
not named Harrell. Not named Harrell, Pat. Not named Harrell. We don't want Coach to be biased.
Gotcha. So Matt Stepp, the great Matt Stepp, the great Matt Stepp mentioned O'Neal Peterson. Was there from 97 to 99, and the 99 ENNIS Stephenville State game was a game that was ahead of its time. You remember that game in 99?
Yeah. O'Neal was our quarterback, and of course Stephenville was really, really good during that time, and they had won state the year before, and so we were playing them in the semifinals, and I forgot how much we got behind, but O'Neal brought us back, and we tied that game up right in the 4th quarter, and then they kicked a field goal at the very end and beat us. But even though they beat us, that group, you know, and man, I think that told our kids or showed our kids, you know, hey, that was Stephenville. They were really good. They won the state 4 years before that. They probably won it that way a year, but but man, you played right with them, you know. And but O'Neal Peterson was a big run of that, no doubt about it. But that was a good game in Texas Stadium. We played those guys in Texas Stadium.
Was that Art Browse, the head coach then?
Yeah, Art was head coach. Yep, sure was.
Golly, but those 2 legends going at each other.
It was a great
Who, Coach, who got the better offensive mind? Sam Harrell or Art Browse?
Well, I'd have to give it to Art. He's done more than I have. You know, you throw out that legend term. I guess I'm just a legend because I'm getting so old.
Well, no, Coach. No, Coach. You're a legend because anywhere in the state of Texas, you walk around and you talk about high school coaches and programs that did it the right way. You are always going to be mentioned in the top 5, Coach. Like that's just what it is.
I appreciate that. That's awfully kind of you.
Yeah, that's where legends come from,
right? You do got 3 rings, don't you, Coach?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you know, you can be humble. We don't have to be humble for you, Coach. We can brag on you.
Coach,
that's nice. You guys are being nice.
Nah, man, it's facts and facts, Coach. Facts and facts. Yeah. Now, I'm just saying, like you know, when you took the break for your health, coming back, did you feel like you was almost you had to kind of readjust to the landscape of high school football from the time you left?
Well, I really didn't, because as I mentioned, I had when I got healthy again, I ran into some coaches that said, "Man, I think you'd coach again." I said, "Well, I do too." And so I started. I was just being an assistant, being an offense coordinator at some places, and so I kept, there were about 9 or 10 years I was away from here, even though my wife and I still lived here. But probably 8 of those 9 years were I was in football coaching, and so I really hadn't just sat at the house or missed all that time. I'd still been coaching.
Well, now how much did it sting to see that that high flying offense you coach changed while you was gone, and it was turned into a pretty much
Run it, yeah.
Ground and
ground
pound.
and pound offense. You thought that
What was
a
that
little
question?
different? I was just saying, like, how much did it pay you to see that those years you had that great throwing offense and high flying offense, and then the new era was ground and pound.
Yeah, that I was just once we got where we could throw the ball like we did, it just hurt me to see anybody at just ground and pound,
So you love football the way it's being played right now. So when you watch DeSoto play, you love that.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Coach, I got a question for you. All right, so what is an everyday practice like for you? Like what does your day consist of with everything that you got going on? Like what does it consist of every day? Like when you wake up, how does your day go?
Right now or during the season?
During the season. Right now, you probably chilling, Coach. Do you even teach? Do you even walk? And do you even go to class?
20 years.
I don't do any teaching, that's for sure. I'm in field house all day.
You just sit in the field house chilling. Cause hey, do they even see you in the main part of the building?
No, they don't.
Perfect life.
I hadn't been up there in over years.
Do you even know who the principal is?
I do know that because he used to coach for us.
Oh, wow.
If he didn't used to coach for us, I probably wouldn't know him.
Wow, wait a minute. So that's a dynamic situation and stuff. So I know you probably had to fuss at him a few times back in the playing days and stuff. It could be a little awkward.
Well, he does a good job running school, and I'm just glad we got a guy up there that can run the school like he does, and then we got a bunch of assistant principals or several assistant principals that are ex-coaches too. And so, when you got, I don't know, I just like having those coaches in charge. I think they do a good job running the school, and he does a good job. But anyway, yeah, he's a good guy, and that's one thing about ENNIS. We've got a really good superintendent and a good AD. I'm not the AD. Some places the AD and head coach. I'm just football coach. So we have an AD that's separate, Coach Drake, and we have a really good AD. We have a really good superintendent and a really good principal. So when you got all those people in leadership there and so good, it really makes things run smooth.
I got a question. Did you come from an era that back in my era we came from corporal punishment from the coaches? Did they dish that out back in the days?
Yeah, we don't do it anymore, but now I came from that same era. I remember I went to high school in Brownwood, like Pat dug up those pictures. But boy, I can remember, Coach Wood and Coach Southall and Coach West, they'd get the board out, and so when it was time for 6 weeks of grades, you had to bring your report card up there and hand it to them, and they'd look at the report card and say, he's got 2 C's and a D. That's 4 licks, and bam, 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 bam.
Oh, I love it. I love it because I played in an era where they would bring that the same thing when they came out with no pass, no play. I think in '84, the coach would blind you up at the midway point, and we had one player got 27 licks. So
Good night.
he tried to
Wow.
quit the team. He tried to
Wow.
quit the team. He tried to quit the team by lick 13. He was like begging to quit the team, but he was a class clown. So I asked that question because did you have to give any corporal punishment to your principal that's up there now?
No. No, we did. And you know,
What about to your kids?
to my kids?
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, starting, I started in 1979 and then coached all through the 80s. Well, 79 and the 80s, you could still you can't give licks anymore at all. So we don't give licks out there in football or up there at school or anywhere. You don't see any boards anymore. But back in the 80s, boy, you had a board and somebody acted up, you gave them licks, and
yes, sir.
Yeah. But
Coach, I'm gonna tell you something. My Jeremy will tell you, my mom was my teacher. She was also J-Max teacher. She had this board she used to come to class with called the Board of Education. It's a long wood paddle, right? And like we used to be like it sucked because I would watch my friends get whoopings, and I already knew I got my whipping. So, but when I saw my friends get whoopings, then we had to go out and play. And got playtime got a little extra cold.
Coach, I was something like a class clown, so I got them licks quite often. And class, but mate, the awkward part is because after you get those licks, you usually have something negative to say about the teacher, but you can't say it because you right next to your partner, so you just have to take it.
You liable to get 2 more licks if you say something bad negative, so you better not say anything. Yeah.
Right. You get those from the sun. Man.
And Coach Carl, he's always been bigger than everybody else. So you didn't do it. You didn't do it.
No. Yeah, that's the area I grew up in too, and so I was used to that kind of, and my dad was a coach, and we used to get, and that was thing because he's up at school. He knew it. If you got in trouble down there in the 7th grade or something, you act like a class clown. Well, he knew about it before he got home, and so then you get it again. You get it one time at school and get it 2 times at home.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Coach, now? I didn't like being at school with my mom. I did not like it, Coach. I promise you, because I always got in trouble. So how was it? How was it for you? I know you said you got whooping at home, then you got one, and maybe it's different because your dad, it's your dad, it's football, like y'all have y'all thing, But as far as the disciplinary part of it, man, how weird was that to see him whoop you, then whoop your homeboys with you? Well,
I never really. My dad coached, but by the time I was a 7th grader the last time he was really coaching. He became a principal after that, and so he never really was my coach, and so
okay.
Are in the same building. And when I was in 7th grade, we were even though we were in the same school, there was a junior high building, so I was down in the junior high building, and he was up at the high school building or over by the gymnasium where the football players dress and stuff. And so I never really had him as my coach or my teacher or whatever else. So and my mom didn't coach or teach, so I didn't see her up there. But he like I said, he just heard about, hey, I heard you got in trouble down in junior high. I heard you got in trouble down in 6th grade, whatever else. They just pass the word down to him more than anything.
Woo! So before we go to the new era and where we're at right now, I just really want to give you your flowers for that championship run. You're part of the southern sector, with south of the Metroplex, and you had some great runs. I mean, you won 3 state titles, and did you make the state another 1 or 2 times on top of that?
We didn't get state, no.
Okay, the semifinals.
Yeah, we got beat in semifinals a couple times.
Yeah, so you 3-0 in the state.
Yeah, if we get state, we're gonna win it. We get state.
Talk that talk.
He's just speaking factual. That's all.
It's tough to get. It's tough to get through this region too. You know, boy, there's some really good teams and good coaches in region 2, and so, man, if you get through that, you got a good chance then.
Who were the teams back then that was that challenge? Every year you're like, dang, we got to get through them to get to this.
Well, back when I was coaching in the early 2000s, coaching, and we was really making good runs. You know, Highland Park was in our division, and then there were other really good ones, but South Lake Carroll was moved up, and other really good, DeSoto wasn't that same level either. So that they were bigger, and so but Highland Park was one you're going to have to go through every year.
Who's the best player? Did you play against Stafford?
Yeah, we played against Stafford. Yeah, they beat us in his I guess his senior year.
How was he, Coach, being on the other side of the field looking at him play?
He when we got ready to play him, we knew he could throw the ball. Well, man, I didn't realize he's as big and he could run as well as he did till he ran for he beat us, and it wasn't on called runs, it was on scrambles. Well, all of a sudden he'd scramble and take off running, and we had a hard time tackling that big old guy. So
that's tough. That's tough. And you went against Randy Allen, who was someone that you spent time with at Brownwood. So that had to be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was.
Which is ironic again. That's 2 coaches from that like to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Coming from that.
Absolutely. All right, so let's fast forward. J Mac mentioned earlier that you retired from the game for a little bit. You said it was 9 years between the time that you left. I think you left in 2009 and came back in 2018, if I'm correct.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And now you're in the new era of football, but you say it hadn't changed much for you. I saw that you had a lot of winning immediately coming back, and you guys went to the second round of the playoffs last year. It was interesting to see that you knocked Bam out and made him a one and done boy. You put him in the one and done boys again, at Kimball or whatever. But how do you feel going into this season? What you got coming back? And let me ask you this: so realignment. How do you feel about the realignment before you got because that really is important as to what you guys are looking at the district last year compared to the district this year?
Yeah, I think realignment was really interesting. As we mentioned before we came on the show, or maybe at the very first of the show, but they took Melissa and Lovejoy, who are really 2 good Region 2 teams, and put them in Region 1. Now, South Oak Cliff is really, really good, and they're still in Region 2, and there's still a lot of the good teams in Region 2. But that realignment kind of changed the landscape a little bit. Our district is going to be tough, but anytime you're in Region 2, you're going to have some tough ones. So we just hope we gotten better. And last year we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a few times, and in games that we probably had a chance to win, and we didn't. You don't like to lose those games that you have a chance to win. Now, when we got beat by Lovejoy, they beat us 42-7 or something like that, and then South Oak Cliff beat them about that bad. So that tells you how good South Oak Cliff was. But
Absolutely.
but that wasn't a game that we shot ourselves in the foot. They had a really good team, a really good group. Lovejoy did, and so we hope we've gotten, and our offensive line is bigger and better, and we're gonna always have a running back that can do what we want to do, and hopefully we can throw the football a little bit too. But hopefully we'll be able to. We're not gonna be ground and pound, but hopefully we can run the football a little bit better, and play good defense, and still throw a thing deep a few times. You know, when we throw, we like to throw it deep.
I like that. I love it. I love it.
Hey, Coach. Coach, I like throwing deep. Hey, Coach, how do you feel? How do you feel about the movements that Lovejoy has made in the offseason?
Well, that's a really good group of guys, or good group of good group of talent right there. And when we play them, you talk about big kids. They got some really big kids, and so, but they, when that coaching job opened up, obviously they went and got them a good coach, and so they're going to be really strong. And moving to Region 1 was probably good news for them, but it's also good news for us in Region 2, in that, Melissa's real good and Lovejoy's real good. They put both them in Region 1 now.
Yeah.
All right. Last year you had exactly. Exactly. We talked about that. We're working on a show for that as well. So last year you guys had Midlow Heritage, Arlington Seguin, the Burlesons, the Mansfield Summits, Joshua. That was a very interesting district. I like the Midlow Heritage team. We talked about them all the time. What is it looking like this year? I don't see the new teams that you guys are paired up with.
Well, yeah, it's still us in Corsicana and Midlow Heritage, but Greenville and Terrell are back in it, and then Greenville, Terrell, Kaufman, and Crandall, and they're one of those areas that's really growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they were both in 4A last year, but they were growing 4As, and so they pushed them up to 5A Division 1. And so Kaufman and Crandall are both in there, and they got good looking kids too. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of some of the old, but some new ones also.
Good Lord, you guys are going to need fundraisers just to make it to the games. That's a pretty good distance. Terrell, Greenville, my Lord.
Yeah.
Woo.
Now you take them back roads. They ain't too far.
No, it's not. Really, that's not. The traveling's probably better than it had been. So, anyway, it'll be some good games, because those are good groups, and then kids and places that have good kids.
Well,
Yeah,
Coach,
that's what I was gonna say. No, I was just saying that district's pretty tough, man. We talking about the playoffs, but it seems like it's gonna be a fight to get there.
Right.
Yeah. It'll be, and I think most everybody in Region 2, Region 2 is just tough play. You don't get many districts in Region 2 that don't have some pretty good ones in them. So there's just a lot of good coaches, a lot of good players around this area.
Yeah. How do you feel about that district with DeSoto, the district of doom?
Wow.
It's gonna be that's a rough one, Coach. How you feel about that one?
I'm just glad I'm not in it. That's how I feel. Yeah. Man, Duncanville, DeSoto, all them, and some really good Mansfield schools, and then Waxahachie too, and yeah, that's tough. That's tough district.
Yeah, you got
Well,
Lancaster
actually,
moving
Coach,
in and
Yeah,
the
Lancaster.
Mesquite schools.
yeah, they gave the Mesquite school, they gave Mansfield a break. It brought Mosquito.
Yeah.
And that was Coach Paul after they released the district the district parents. Oh my goodness. That's District of Doom. That is tough. That's tough.
Coach, you know they say now, Coach, they say on a realignment meeting there's some people who don't answer the phone, and there's people phones who stay ringing. Which one was you, Coach?
Well, thankfully we had we were just hoping we would be in a 8-team district again, and so you'd have 7 district games, and so you need 3. And so I'd been working on those 3 non-district for a long time, and because you don't want to be calling or answering phone calls when that time comes around.
Who you got pre-district, Coach?
Well, we're still playing Waxahachie. That's just because that's
tradition.
kind of one of those games you just got to play, even though they're a whole lot bigger than us. Still got Waxahachie, and then Midlothian High School, which they're bigger than us too, and but they're 5A Division 1, and then we got but at least close by, and then we got Burleson Centennial also, and they'll be a good game too because they know how to run the football. They're one of those ground and pound groups.
Yeah, that old option.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that slot T option.
Yeah.
Now they have a pretty good receiver too. Now they got Davian Long the second over there. That really good wide receiver over there too. That they will throw it. They ain't got no problem throwing it to him.
Yeah, and he'll catch it and go run on you too. I guarantee you.
Yeah,
you got to cover him.
Yeah, he's a good one. Big play, Damian Long. Well, yeah, Coach. So we listen. We're on the Dub. We are. What you didn't know, we are preseason matchmakers. We we like to find the good games. So here's my question to you, Coach. Have you ever played Carter High School?
No, we never have played Carter High School.
I think we need to make that happen, Coach.
Well, you'd probably be a good one to help make it happen.
Yeah, let's make that happen, Coach. I think in 2 years, we need to make that happen, Coach. That's the real battle of I-45, Coach. It ain't Houston. It ain't Yates. It's Ennis and Oak Cliff. I think we need to make that happen.
Let's make it happen, and when we get 2 years from now, when we redo this whole thing like we always do every 2 years.
Yes, I'm with you. Let's make that happen. We need to make that happen. That'd be a good game, Coach.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, have you played any of the Duncanville, Cedar Hills, or DeSoto's in your history?
Well, back in the day, when Coach McGuire was at Cedar Hill, we used to play them, and that was way back when we had O'Neal Peterson at quarterback, and we're pretty good, and but they were really good too. And but we played Cedar Hill, and we used to scrimmage them every year too. We'd scrimmage them, and then we started playing them for 2 years. We played them, but Duncanville or DeSoto we never have played, but we have played Cedar Hill back in the day.
All right. Y'all heard O'Neal was a real cat daddy. He was a great player with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, he was good, but he wasn't better than Cedar Hill. Cedar Hill was dang good too.
Yeah, that was that, but that was a great era though. I remember that. I was just wondering about that because you're close in proximity. I'm pretty sure you played. Yeah, I know you played Red Oak before. I actually been to a Red Oak ENNIS game like years ago.
Yeah, we played Red Oak. Well, we used to be in their district too until they started getting so big. But we played them like since I've been back. I guess it was 3 and 4 years ago. That 2 year time. Yeah, when Coach Ross was there, yeah, we played them for 2 years, yeah, in that time right then, and but we didn't play them last 2 years in that realignment.
And I imagine you played Lancaster before.
Oh yeah, we used to be in their district all the time. They were really good, and but we used to be in their district until they started getting bigger. But we hadn't played them. I mean, I hadn't played them since I've been back. But I guess before I back in those early years, early 2000s. I mean, we played them every year because they was in our district every year.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and I know the.
Now go ahead, Pat.
No, go ahead. You got it, Jay.
No, I was just saying before you get out of here, I want him to kind of give us some names of who we need to be kind of looking out for when y'all take the field next year.
Well, we got one of our receivers, Grayson Harris, is probably the biggest name guy. He's led the Metroplex in receiving. He was only freshman I've ever had play for us that was, he started as a freshman and was really good as a freshman. But he will be a senior next year. So he'll be one. And then we got another receiver named, well, we call him Peanut, McGowan. He should be good for us. And then our I won't name those old linemen because you know how poor old linemen, they don't get mentioned very much, but our old line should be pretty good. And then, but we really don't have any, other than the Grayson Harris kid, we don't really have any big name kids that are going to be in the paper a whole lot, I think. But they're just good old ENNIS kids that play hard on Friday night.
Who getting them the ball, Coach? Who getting Grayson the ball?
Well, we're wondering who is going to be quarterback right now. And we played him at quarterback some because we thought, well, let's just instead of worrying about throwing to him, let's just snap it to him every time. Yeah.
Hey, okay. Coach, last question I got for you, Coach, real quick. How often do you go to Buc-ee's?
How what?
How often do you go to Buc-ee's?
You're exactly right. I love going over to Buc-ee's, and so I'll probably go. I'll probably go at least once a week.
What you gonna get?
What's that?
What do you get when you go?
Oh golly, you gotta dig that one up. I love their breakfast, but I like their nuts too. You know, they got all sorts of candied nuts and sugared nuts and everything. And man, I can go town on those nuts.
When we say nuts, Coach, we're talking about almonds, cashews.
Oh man! Hey, shout out to the famous class of probably the most famous person in this class, or at least on this page, Coach Sam Harrell. Man, we appreciate you stopping by the Dub. Man, legend in the building, man. We appreciate everything you've done in the Metroplex. A 3-time champion. And so anytime you're on the field, who's your first game, by the way? Who's your first district game?
Our first district game.
First game. I'm sorry, not district game. Your first non-district. First non-district.
Yeah, first non-district game is Waxahachie.
Oh, okay. The Battle of 287. All right, look.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna make it a point that one of us, or maybe all of us, are gonna stop by, shake your hand at the 50-yard line, and be on the sideline. And we talked to the coach for Waxahachie last year. God, I can't remember his name, but we interviewed him last year. Tolly, yeah, Tolly. Coach Tolly. So yeah, we'll come out and shake both of y'all hands. Maybe they'll let us do the coin toss or something. But man, we appreciate a legend in the building, 3-time champ, Coach Sam Harrell, for stopping by the hood.
Hey, I
GOAT.
appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. Just I still think football is the greatest game there was, and you guys just kind of fostering and promoting and preserving the legacy of it, and getting on as many. There's so many good coaches in the area, and y'all do a great job of promoting it, and I just appreciate that.
We
Absolutely.
appreciate you too, Coach. And listen, take it easy on them nuts. All right.
Yeah. It's those good cashews. Those good cashews.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you.
Oh. Hey man, that was fun. That was fun, man.
Bro, almost passed out.
I was saying, pause, Coach, pause. No Diddy.
No Diddy. No Diddy.
Oh, that was good, man. I love Coach, man. I love Coach Harrell, man. I love that man. Hell, I'll play for him any day.
Any day, man. Listen, hey, I tell you what, man. He was being modest, but that guy knows some offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows. He was being modest, but trust me, him and the Stephenville coach, Browns.
Yeah, Art.
They
Yeah.
were before their time, man, on that offense, for real.
And hey, he knows these nuts too, so
I know what he's talking about. I'll be buying them cashews too. And the bombs.
Yeah, I like them golden nuggets. I ain't gonna lie, I just didn't want to say that. I was just like, I would keep my comment to
yeah, we're in the no Diddy zone this year, so we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it kosher. But hey, now Coach is funny, he's witty, he's a legend. And he's been around for an awful long time, and he still looks young. Like, I forgot to mention that to him, man. Like every picture I was pulling up from 5 and 10 years ago, dude, like he was in his 40s or something like that. So, hey, keeps himself in great shape, man. God bless a great American coach like Coach Harrell.
Yeah,
great Texan. That's a true Texan.
True Texan. True Texan.
That's a true Texan. Now, one thing I will say, man, like West Texas might not put out no athletes like that, but boy, they put
got
out
some damn good coaches, boy.
No,
they put out some coaches, man. Good Lord.
Yeah. It's always those pockets like West Texas, here in Texas, and Ohio. It's the Youngstown area in Ohio. Like they have like a concentrated area of like damn good coaches. You know what I'm saying? Where they come from and everything like that. West Virginia always had that nice little core group of great coaches. It's always those small towns, small pockets, but I think it's because of the work ethic and the things that they learned in those environments that helped them. If you look at our coaches now, Black coaches, the environment they grew up in, inner city, the route that they've had to go, they're able to more relate to more of the kids from that purpose, perspective. So yeah, man, you're right, man. They putting them out, J-Mac, for sure.
And they kind of like generational, like
mm-hmm.
it's like a thing with them. Like it's like he said, man, he was gonna be a dentist, but it was in his blood to be a coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a pay cut. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially back then.
Just in his blood, and I think that's where those kind of coaches are so great because it's in their DNA.
It's who they are.
And it's who they are, and they understand the game. Like they learn the game way before a lot of coaches that go out and decide to be coaches. Like they learn the game from a young age.
Because it was their calling, right? You know how like your dad, who's a pastor, right? His calling was to lead to ministry. To me, it's the same way as great coaches. You know who they are. It's a calling that you have, right? When we was in college, when I was coaching in Michigan, we were sitting in a team meeting, and the professors would come in, and when the professor came in, I said, "What's up, coach?" He said, "I'm not a coach. I'm a professor." I said, "Well, what's the difference?" And he looked at me. He said, "It's not one." I said, "Yeah, we're all teachers. We all educators. We're just speaking. We just coaching football. It's the same thing, you know." So it's a calling, man, for sure.
Yeah, hey, I want to give a shout out to Kyle Witherspoon. Y'all see Kyle right there? Y'all
So,
see that
Cal,
young man?
Yeah.
Kyle is one of my DeSoto classmates. Let you know how long ago I was at DeSoto.
Oh man, and look, hey Kyle, you stay
That's all you
tuned.
need
You
to know.
stay,
Right?
well, look, J Mac. Based on that picture, we don't know which way to go with Cal. You know.
Hey, Kyle was one of the cool white guys. That's one of the cool white guys.
But I'm saying I don't know if Cal is white or black. I don't know. You know. What
nah,
I'm saying?
I'm just saying the head. You know, we all kind of lost it. You know what I'm saying? We all kind of lost it.
Kyle looked like he wore a mullet back in the days though, so he probably wore the mullet back when y'all.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Cal looked like he used to hang out on the other side of the building in DeSoto. He was on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah, he was one of the ones that used to chew the tobacco and spit it on their boot and rub it on the back of their jeans. Y'all don't know about that. But yeah, that's what I learned when I went to DeSoto. That's what I learned
Hey,
when I went to DeSoto.
J Mac, was he part of the group called the Ropers back then? You know, it was a group called the Ropers and
for the boots.
He definitely one of the Ropers. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had all the different types of cliques and stuff back then. But actually, you stay tuned, Mr. Kyle Witherspoon. I actually do have a picture that I'm gonna pull up on J Mac, and I keep forgetting to do it, but I have it on the next episode. You'll probably remember that J Mac because it don't look like the J Mac we see today.
Probably won't. Probably had her.
Yeah, you had
her back then.
You had her. You look like you danced in an R&B group or something.
Oh man, now anybody know me from high school? Yeah, they know. They know J-Mac was a player.
Yeah, for sure.
And it wasn't football.
And it wasn't football.
It wasn't football.
No, it wasn't football. Shorty's just a player.
Hey, you couldn't tell me why I used to have that little high five part with the shorts and the eyebrow. Hey, she.
Hey,
Boy,
bro,
stay with
the baby powder in the hair for the Kwame look.
I didn't have the Kwame. That's the thing, man. I just had the curly curl. Yeah, I had the Mr. Ed, what was his name? The rapper.
We had the shag.
We
had the shag. Yeah, we had the tape. Yeah, we tape it here. And then it had the hair back here. Yeah, I had one of them. I rocked it for a long time.
And when they used to have the curly top, back when the high top.
Yeah, because you used to put the S curl in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we all had a little S curl back in our life.
Absolutely. I had the curly hair. You so right. Especially
I had a Jerry curl too. Yeah. Especially when NWA came out with Easy E and Ice Cube. Oh, we was all rocking Jerry curls.
Well, I had we grow that little pro out and go get that S curl kit and burn your head up.
Yes, sir.
Go to the bar.
Hey, I used to have something before the curl came out. It used to be called the Fantastic. So anybody give me a thumbs up in the chat if y'all know about the Fantastic.
Hey, I was up in there like Shorty and Red.
Man, hey, look. I ain't gonna lie. I even experiment with the little curl in the face and stuff thing with the Jerry curl and stuff. I had the one little curl hanging down and stuff. You know, they thought it was cool back then.
And then back when the ducktail was in, boy, I used to try to slick that curl down to where it curled up in the back. They had that little ducktail back there. Boy.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I didn't do the ducktail.
I did the ducktail, and I used to plait it up during the week, and then let it curl up on the weekend. Yeah, I remember the ducktail.
Hey, you still got the ducktail. You still got the ducktail since '85.
Huh?
You ain't never cut. You ain't never cut your ducktail.
I got a head full of hair right now. Still, I ain't lost all my head, yo. Y'all joking?
That's why I'm trying to figure out how you got a head full of hair, man, and everybody else walking
Hey,
around here lost their hair.
Hey, that
But
good
I
living,
haven't
man.
lost my hair. I shaved my head. It's just my hair is white, like
You know when you stretch your
Snow
pants.
White.
So
out and
hold on,
stuff,
J
your
Man.
hair
So
fall.
you actually can grow your head full of hair.
Who?
I
Me?
grow. Yeah, I actually
Oh,
I
hell.
grow.
think
I got a
I think
head
you
full
should
of
do
hair.
that. I think you
Yeah,
should do
let's see
that.
how they look. It ain't gonna
Man,
be
it's
George
so white,
Jefferson.
man.
Listen, you can try.
No.
You become an honorary
No.
member of
No, wait a
the
minute. Wait a minute.
the gray tones. What?
Wait a
I'm
minute.
telling you because see, I used to have salt and pepper back in high school, so
Dang.
I'm completely white headed. So I can't stand the white head. And I ain't gonna lie, man. These barbershops charge a joker $50, $60. Hell no, I ain't growing it back.
Bro, I'm tripping though.
I shave my head.
I'm tripping because your brother
I'm
got
not
a
gonna pay
head
you
full of hair.
$50 to shave my white head.
No, that's crazy. But your brother got a head full of hair too. So yeah, I believe it.
Oh yeah, my dad. My pop still got a head full of like I'm not going bald. I shave mine voluntarily.
Oh,
Bro,
well, I didn't have a choice.
a high top fade with that white hair, bro. That'd be cool, bro. You know, we need the high top J Mac.
Yeah,
Bro.
you look a little scruffy, man. You'll be all right.
This boy said what in the early 90s is going on tonight.
Hey man,
Hey, the early 90s
you
were the
wouldn't know.
times,
You wouldn't
homie.
know.
You wouldn't know.
Good times, man. Good times.
Hey, you wouldn't know. That boy wouldn't know about Aquarius. Redbird
I know
1
what
through
picture
5.
you got, man. You got my old. You ain't got my old prom picture, do you? That prom picture.
It looked like you took it at a prom. I don't think it's the prom picture, but it's something
Yeah,
similar.
I know what picture you got. Yeah. When you see that picture, you'll see how your boy used to rock for sure.
No doubt. Hey, did you know you went to school with a cat named Robert Woodard?
Would it sound familiar? I gotta see faces. You know, I'm
You
old.
you came out, yeah. You know what? He might have came out a year or two before you. But Robert Wood, his brother probably came out with you. Robert Wood, what was his brother's name? God, dog. Yeah, those
Would it
my
sound
dogs.
familiar?
Yeah, they lived in DeSoto. They went to DeSoto.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't hang with a bunch, cause I always tell the story. I spent most of my time at Carter, even though I was at DeSoto.
I think you was in somebody's homeroom at Carter. I think you checked roll at Carter every day. I swear I saw you more than I seen anybody else.
That boy had a
Willow, I
homeroom at
got story
Carter.
days, man. We used to go to Carter and Kilburn, man, and we actually sat in a couple homerooms at the beginning.
Hey man, you know when I realized that you didn't graduate from Carter? Probably episode 3.
Damn.
Wow. You didn't go to Carter? You didn't graduate from Carter? No, man, I moved to DeSoto. Wow.
And I promise you, you ain't the first. You ain't the first person to say that, man. Don't joke. You ain't the
Well,
first
everybody
person.
think he done graduated, but ain't nobody seen him walk the
No,
stage.
I was talking to a homie of mine, man, from Carter, and he was like, "You sure did graduate, but why I used to see you all the time?"
Yeah.
I used to be.
You were swagging the complete opposite. We all swore you graduated from Carter.
That was a good line right there.
Yeah, it is. We the opposite with Swaggy. Did he go to Carter? Did he go to Carter? I don't remember seeing him.
See, though, hey, Prue just said it. He thought I graduated from Carter. I'm telling you, now, a lot of people thought I graduated from Carter because that's just where I always was.
No doubt. Hey, Carter was always at school, though. I kind of went through their yearbooks over the past and saw some people I knew. I was like, boy, Carter was always at school. I tried to go to Carter, but they made me go to Duncanville. He said he was with us from elementary on. Man, hey, man, episode 83 already. How was Woodtown back then? My boy said Woodtown was cool in the early 80s, and then it just went to hell by the 90s.
I'm a Redbird guy.
You're a Redbird guy?
I didn't frequent Woodtown a lot. We just, if you didn't have a homie that lived over there, you just didn't really just go over there.
Okay, yeah, it said it was called Polk Terrace back then or whatever. That sounded like a name where stuff was going down.
Hey, Willow probably knows more than I do.
About what?
How often did you go to Woodtown when you was at Carter?
Oh, a lot, man, because it was right around the corner. And then, we had teammates. You had your teammates that stayed over there too, So I used to always go over there. I didn't know it was called Woodtown. Well, yes, I guess I did know it was called Woodtown. But I mean, that was just
that was
just Woodtown
was them apartments. I thought Woodtown.
No, Woodtown is actually the streets.
All the
streets.
It's
the whole neighborhood. Yeah, it's the whole neighborhood. I used to think it was apartments back then, though.
Nah, see, I never went to the apartments because back then Carter was a lot of people went to Carter lived in nice homes. So
yeah.
I don't know what it's like at Roosevelt.
Yeah, there wasn't no roguish life going on back then.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what y'all was doing over there in Roosevelt. We lived in a good neighborhood.
Well, look at you. I was in Duncanville by then, so I was in a good neighborhood too, living a good life.
Ashley, you was in New Orleans. I mean, Shreveport. You was at Shreveport. You was in Shreveport.
No, I didn't even. I barely went to school in Louisiana. My rearing was up here. Hey, shout out W.W. Bushman. My elementary W.W. Bush, my Oak Cliff Boys Club, OCBC. Yeah, baby, I'm Dallas, Texas, all the way.
Yeah,
but yeah, my belt a little rough. We stayed on Cedar Crest. That was a little rough. It was rough back then. That's probably why Pops moved us out to Duncanville back then. So we were seeing way too much back in the Gap. But other than that, man, episode 83 has been a blast. It's been off the chain. Dub Style, you got any important words, anything you got going on, Coach, before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I don't have anything, man. It was just an honor to have an opportunity, man, to talk to Coach HARRELL, man. I think that was an amazing opportunity, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Pat. I actually literally took a nap and didn't want to get up, and I was really about to say, "The hell with y'all to shoot y'all the deuce," but But like I say, man, just that opportunity, man, to talk to Coach HARRELL and talk ball and fellowship, to me that was an amazing experience, man. I love great coaches, man. He's definitely one of them. So I had a great time tonight, man, for sure.
Yes, sir. Hey, and let me do a shameless plug for Sunday night. We're gonna have some H-Town flavor Sunday night.
Oh.
Got some H-Town flavor coming in Sunday night. That's why I was surprised while Willow taking shots. Yeah.
We got some H-Town flavor, dog. It's going down.
We got some H-Town flavor.
Who was I taking shots with? What you talking about, Willis?
We're going to have Houston Yates head coach, man. Coach Thomas will be chopping it up, hanging out with us Sunday night, man.
Oh, Yates. So, well, I mean, Coach, I didn't lie. So he know what it is. Shit.
Hey, ain't that Coach Mathis? That's Coach Mathis' homeboy.
That is Coach Mathis' homeboy. Yeah. We had a good conversation about that.
I mean, he did get 6'3" put on him. So, Coach, he gotta understand what it was like.
Yeah, he did a great job turning that team around.
That he did. He absolutely did. I think they went 10-1 after that.
Sheesh.
Yes, sir.
With that,
and when I do the digging on that, man, just consider how Houston Independent School District is. It's like night and day with DISD right now. And the more I look at it, man, he, the greater I look at the job he did, I just think it was that much better. Without, when you understand how big a difference DISD and HISD is. So we'll all chop it up, man. It's gonna be fun though.
Yeah.
No doubt. And there'll be some interesting story lines, really, to be honest, with what's going on in DISD versus HSID, whatever. Because we never get to hear about what's going on there. We know they got the same type of schools and situations as Dallas do. I would like to, compare to see who of course you're gonna put SOC in there as making the whole district better for DISD, but I would really like to kind of find out what's the landscape of HISD, because
Lamar been the only thing they got, and that's their version of Skyline.
Mm-hmm. But I think you got to go a step further, man. I mean, just name me 3 really good Houston ISD inner city coaches.
Right, you're right.
We're gonna talk about it, Coach. Save all that. That's why I said we're gonna have a great discussion come Sunday night. We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna get some answers.
Well, we do. We got questions, Coach.
Yeah,
we got questions. I got a lot of questions.
I love it, man. Look, and we know we're gonna have some Dallas representation on there as well and stuff, man. Let's see what we can get.
Considering I did announce that my new team is the Houston Texans, so it's gonna be an H-Town kind of flavor Sunday night.
So when you moving?
Well, hey, I'm doing when you moving, boss. Hey, I'm gonna do a shameless plug right quick too, man. Mark Henry came out, man. Much love to Mark Henry. I played him at the beginning because every time we do something with the league, he's always there supporting. He comes out and runs our board and all that type of stuff, man. We got at DeSoto High School, we got over 42 games this weekend, man. So if y'all ain't got nothing going on Sunday, y'all come out and check out what we calling our spring vibes, man. This is what it looks like every weekend. It's about 1,000 people out there, vendor trucks. Come get something to eat. Come hang out with the Big U Sports League and see how we do it. We also got tackle games on Saturday at DeSoto UHL. So if y'all ain't got nothing to do, man, y'all come hang out with your boy, man. It's going down. Mark Henry, if you ain't busy this weekend, you can come out again for me, homie. I appreciate you. Episode 83 is in the books. Dub style, we up out this thing.
I'm checking out the tackle.
You're watching BYSE, Big U Sports and Entertainment TV.
Hey, I'm Reginald Samples, 6A Division I state champion. I just want to give a shout out to the Dub, my favorite podcast and program.
Ron Murray, Mr. High School Holler, K104, the biggest out at the 214 day camp. Big shout out to the Quentin Jackson, the Duncanville all-world quarterback.
It was good. The Quentin Jackson, shout out to the Dub High School Podcast.
Big shout out to the Dub, man. I see y'all making moves and doing what y'all need to do.
Swaggy Wits, top 10 picks.
That's always when I got enough just to count it for me. I won. Give me my money.
You what?
Hello.
Only on the Dub. Welcome to the Dub, the #1 high school podcast starring Pat Botezy, Jeremy McInnes, Whitfield Roderick, Coach Carr, and Ron Reiser.